Good evening and welcome to the special public meeting of the Halton District School Board for Wednesday, July the 25th, 2018. I'd like to welcome everyone and remind everyone that this meeting is video voice recorded and live streamed on our website. And I would like to ask everybody to silence any devices that you have. This evening, no regular elected trustees are missing. And it's summer, so the student trustees are not expected to be here. In the room for staff, we have Manager Gortmaker and Director Miller, as well as Kevin Raposo, handling our audiovisual. And this evening, Trustee Collard will be doing the acknowledgement of the land.
Thank you very much. Halton, as we know it today, is rich in history and modern traditions of many First Nations and the Métis. From the Anishinaabe to the Attawandaron, the Haudenosaunee, and the Métis, these lands surrounding the Great Lakes are steeped in Indigenous history. As we gather together today on these treaty lands, we have the responsibility to honor and respect the four directions: land, waters, plants, animals, ancestors that walked before us, and all the wonderful elements of creation that exist. We would like to acknowledge and thank the Mississaugas of the New Credit First Nation for sharing their traditional territory with us.
Okay, thank you very much. Now, are there any declarations of possible conflict of interest? Seeing none. Next, we are up to the agenda. Before I put the agenda on the table, I would like to remind everyone that as this is a special board meeting, we cannot add items, specifically motions that are not related to the current agenda, to the agenda this evening. Could I have a motion to approve the agenda? Trustee Gray, seconded by Trustee Collard. Okay, is there any discussion this evening at all on the agenda? Seeing none, so we're going to voting. All in favor? Oh. That passes unanimously. Thank you very much. Okay, now we are up to our ratification action items. Just as some background, this afternoon we had our appointment process, and we had 6 candidates come forward to put their names forward for the Milton Wards 1, 6, 7, 8 trustee position that became available because Trustee Kim Graves had to vacate her position. So after that process, we did come up with a successful candidate, and Trustee Daniele has asked to read the motion.
Thank you very much, Madam Chair. The motion be it resolved that Reza Ali Chaudhry of Milton, Ontario, be the Halton District School Board Trustee designate for Milton's Wards 1, 6, 7, and 8, and that Reza Ali Chaudhry be sworn in as Halton District Board Trustee for Milton Wards 1, 6, 7, and 8 at the regular board meeting on September 5th, 2018, for the completion of the current term of office. And I so move.
Seconded by Trustee Collard. Is there any discussion at all? Seeing none, I'd like to just say that we had 6 wonderful candidates come out who had a lot of passion for education, and we appreciate the time that they took to prepare and present today, and we hope that the candidates that were not the successful candidates continue that passion for education in other ways. I'd also like to thank all the people that supported the process, including Manager Gortmaker and the Communications Department. It was a lot of work to go through the appointment process. So, seeing no other speakers, we will vote on the motion that was put on the table. All those in favor? That passes unanimously. Thank you very much. Now I'm going to pass the gavel because there are 2 motions that I would like to bring forward that are related to this.
Okay, so I'm going to look to the speakers list. Trustee Collard did. You're welcome. Okay, Trustee Grebenz, Chair Grebenz.
Okay, I have a motion to, so be it resolved that the ballots for the trustee appointment process be destroyed.
Okay, is there any seconder for that? Trustee Reynolds? Okay, and are there any speakers to that motion? Okay, seeing no speakers, I will prepare the panel. Trustee Reynolds. Okay, the topic is set for voting. That is to destroy the ballots. Okay, there's one. Let's see here. Okay, great. Thanks everybody for your votes, and that passes unanimously. Okay. I'll look back to the speakers list. Chair Grebenz.
Second motion is be it resolved that the video of the interview and deliberations for the trustee appointment process for Milton be publicly posted.
Is there any conversation? Seconded by Trustee Papin. Thank you very much. And is there any conversation about that motion? Okay, seeing none. Okay, it's ready for your voting. Thank you very much, and that passes unanimously. Okay, are there any other motions or speakers on that topic? Trustee Harvey Hope.
Yes, just a question about onboarding and whether or not, since we're doing the swearing in September, perhaps for the benefit of the public, will our new trustee have access to an email address or those kinds of things, and for our benefit of knowing how much involvement he might have until September.
Through Chair Drabens, I can answer from the staff perspective, but not about the interactions with trustees. I've already spoken to the successful, well, he's not candidate anymore, successful trustee designate, Mr. Chowdhury, and he will have an email address. We've spoken to our superintendent of IT, and we've also spoken to one of our legal representatives to have a meeting with him around the role of a trustee vis-a-vis operational versus governance and all that. And I have offered to meet with Mr. Chowdhury as well prior to him taking being sworn in. So, yeah, there'll be some onboarding before that.
Okay, I'm going to pass the gavel back to Chair Verbence for the remainder of the meeting.
I suspect, well, I know I'm going to meet with him if possible, and I'm sure other people will also be meeting with him. And I understand he'll be invited to the leadership conference at the end of August, so that he's up to speed on what's going on and so he can also meet some of the administration in his area.
And I believe there was further clarification about at what level of information. I'm just not curious about, yes, he's been officially appointed, but he hasn't been sworn in. So as far as what may or may not happen in August, as far as before he's sworn in, personal information of students, that kind of, do we know about that? Or perhaps we could clarify that with our legal.
Through you, Chair Drabens, to Trustee Harvey Hope, we obviously there's a great deal of confidential and private information that he will not be privy to until he's actually sworn in, but we can provide him with as much information as we are able to that is not of a confidential nature and so on.
Okay, there's nobody else on the speakers list. So next is communications to the board, starting with the director's report.
I have nothing. Thank you, Chair Drabens. I have nothing to report other than to congratulate Mr. Chowdhury and the other 5 candidates who came. I sat through those, and the trustees had a difficult decision for sure. And it was reassuring for a director of education to see an engaged public and people that are prepared to step up and make a difference and support public education and support the Halton District School Board and our staff and students through this process. So I want to thank all of those that stepped forward, and in particular congratulate Mr. Chowdhury, and we look forward to working with him. Thank you. That's my report.
Thank you very much. And I have no communications from the chair other than to thank everybody for being part of the process and actively part of the process. Do we have any questions or comments from trustees? I see we have a speakers list. So, Trustee Amos.
Thank you very much. First, I'd like to thank the director and the chair for the letter that was put out regarding the health and phys ed curriculum. I thought, as I know other trustees did, that it was important to share with the community just our thoughts about where things are going right now, and just that we don't know what's going on, and we wanted to share that we will still be following our mission, vision, values, and try to make sure that students are supported the best that they can be. So thank you for doing that. I also wanted to I guess it's a notice of motion type thing, but I intend to bring some motions that for the September board package. The first will be about a letter regarding this, requesting more information, depending on what information we've gotten, to the Ministry of Education regarding the health and phys ed curriculum. Also, a letter regarding the implementation of a curriculum around Indigenous education. And I'd also a letter to the federal government, because I believe there's some onus that the federal government should be carrying about helping encourage our provincial leaders to educate all students of Canada around the Indigenous people. So those are some thoughts right now. There may be others, and if other trustees have any thoughts that they want to share with me, maybe we can work together on those type of motions, but I just wanted to put it out there. I think that we do need to wait until we hear more about what this government's doing, but I just want to put it out there. I think that we need to be a little proactive and share where our board's feeling.
Thank you. Trustee Daniele?
Thank you very much. I just wanted to take this opportunity to thank our tech in the back, Kevin, who has been, who came back in for this meeting to make sure that we are available to the public. I know he puts a lot of hours in it, and I know that he's going off on secondment, and we will miss him, and looking forward to working with Summer, who will be replacing him. But I just want to say thank you, Kevin, for all the support that we've gotten, and the many times I haven't been able to make a meeting and you've called me on your cell to get me connected. You've gone through a lot for us, and it's been very much appreciated.
Trustee Reynolds?
Thank you. Through the chair, I just wanted to ask the director if he could perhaps give some assurances or speak to the public about some of the concerns I've been hearing since June. Particularly, I know that many of our school communities received notices that there would be some improvements to the schools over the summer. And in light of the recent provincial government messaging that school repairs were being canceled, could the director please speak to what impact the government's response would have in our community? Basically, parents want assurance that their schools are going to be better in September.
Through your chair, grants to Trustee Reynolds. The specific statement from the provincial government was related to the cancellation of cap and trade, and it was about $100 million province-wide. There is little or no impact. We haven't entirely established it yet, but it would be a very, very insignificant impact on this board, as the money that was allocated to this board to decrease greenhouse gases had already been spent or contracts signed prior to the announcement of the provincial government. So in that respect, there will be no impact on the board that we have been able to find yet. All the tenders have been signed, etc., and most of the work has actually been done. As far as the other improvements, the government has voiced no opinion one way or the other on school renewal funds and capital investments and those kinds of things. So they will go forward as planned. We have the money, and the work is being undertaken right now. Thank you.
Thank you. That's great news to hear.
Trustee Gray?
Thank you very much, through the chair. I just wanted to share with the trustees tonight something that I shared earlier today with Trustee Amos, and that was a correspondence that I received from MPP Ted Arnott, who was forwarding a letter of concern from one of the constituents in Halton Hills to the Minister of Education, Lisa Thompson, regarding the funding and the request for fairer funding or an analysis of the funding for education. And this is a direct result of the infographic that was able to be circulated late June, and the press pick up on that story. We are only at the very, very beginning stages of our fanning out of this wonderful document, but I wanted to share with you that through that correspondence, we know that at least it is making its way up, and through discussions with Trustee Amos today, I learned that some of her constituents also have done a similar thing, and that they have reached out to their MPP, and so correspondence is starting to flow, and hopefully we'll start to again gain a little bit more public awareness of the status of our funding, and hopefully this will all help us as we move forward in September.
I'm just going to chime in on that, because I had a telephone conversation from MPP Arnott last week. His assistant arranged the conversation because many constituents had been contacting him and sending him the infographic. So he wondered how he could help. So I had a conversation with him about it, and we agreed that a good next step, he's sending the information on to the minister, but a good next step for our board and the MPPs in the area would be to have a meeting together sometime in the fall. He just suggested that we have to wait until they have a calendar out because their calendar is not set yet. So as soon as that calendar is ready, we're going to try and nail down a date to invite them down to the board office. Okay? I just thought I would let you know. Okay. Seeing no more speakers, may I have a motion to adjourn? Trustee Gray, seconded by Trustee Oliver. Any discussion at all? All those in favor? And surprise, surprise, that passes unanimously. Thank you very much and have a great rest of the summer. And we'll see you at the Leadership Conference at the end of the month. Next month.